This is Ag Matters PM from the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network, brought to you by the Iowa Soybean Association. Your daily recap of the information that affects Iowa's farmers, producers, and consumers, right here in the heart of the heartland. With reports from our award-winning broadcast team of Dustin Hoffman, Riley Smith, and Mark Magnuson. Now, from the IARN studios in Des Moines, here's Riley Smith.
Good day and welcome to Ag Matters PM from the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network. I'm Riley Smith. Today is Thursday, September 21st, 2023. It is National Earth, Wind, and Fire Day. We're so glad you could join us for today's show. In today's episode, I talked with Devin Hammer of Bayer about their smart corn system and specifically that short stature corn. We also have a check of that ag weather outlook, but first, let's run down the markets.
It's time now for the Ag Matters PM Closing Market Summary, your source for market analysis and settlement prices from the day's trade in Chicago, courtesy of the folks at agmarket.net.
At the end of another trading day in the ag marketplace, we're talking with Tyler Schau of agmarket.net. First off, Tyler, how are the grains looking today?
Pretty poor. Pretty much every agricultural commodity today took it on the chin. I struggle to find really any commodity outside of the U.S. dollar and crude oil that saw an up day. The rest saw, I wouldn't say a bloodbath, but down. Took yesterday seemed like a pretty nice day. We had kind of a nice move up and basically just went and erased all of those. Went a little deeper on soybeans and kind of sitting back to where we were the close of the day Tuesday when everyone was a little bit scratching their heads trying to figure out what was going on.
Right, of course, a lot of that from the changes from the Fed. Now, obviously, we have a couple more opportunities for that to happen. So are we kind of bracing for the worst, or what's the situation there?
Yeah, I mean, the Fed meeting yesterday they did not raise or cut rates, but the feeling that the market has received from the remarks made after the Fed meeting was that expect another 25 basis point hike in either November or December. And then I think probably what's maybe a little more concerning to the market or the macro markets and then the overall commodity markets is that there was a lot of expectations that we'd start to see easing of interest rates in 2024 and 2025. And they have what they call a dot plot where they, some analysts make estimations on when those rates will come down. And basically what we're seeing with that is the rate cuts, expected rate cuts have slowed, and so what a lot of people were anticipating to see some, I wouldn't say aggressive, but some pretty decent cuts to those interest rates over the next 2 years. That's kind of dissipating, and so you've just got markets trying to brace for a higher interest rate environment for a longer period of time, which typically means slower economic growth, and so it's uncertainty, and business and markets don't like uncertainty, and the result is what we're seeing today, a broad sell-off on commodity assets.
And of course, it didn't help either that export sales were much lower than normal. In fact, I saw that for the past week of export sales was the lowest for that week in like 12 years or something. So obviously that wasn't much help either.
Yeah, we've been beating the drum really all summer, but especially here lately, and you've been hearing a lot of different analysts talk about the lack of demand. I would tend to go one step further. It is a lack of demand for U.S. crop. It's also the 900-pound gorilla in the room is Brazil, and they're just producing massive amounts of crop out there. But this is not good to see poor export sales this time of the year, especially on corn and beans. Really on beans, but also on corn. This is a time where we need to be seeing some strong sales. We're not, which means the importers are finding that product elsewhere, and it just doesn't bode well for the bulls who are saying that we're fine and price should go higher when we just don't seem to be able to attract demand, even with low prices. I'm not going to say historically low prices, but low prices compared to the last 2 years. One would think this would spur some buying, and it's just not at the time being.
And then on the other side of the marketplace in the livestock complex, what action did we see there today?
It was pretty nasty looking there as well. I think yesterday I talked about how hogs looked pretty good, and hogs just went and gave all of the gains from the last 2 days back. That's a function, hogs are going to be tied to that export market as well. And when the dollar is up, it's you can basically make an inverse correlation with all of these commodities, and hogs and soybeans, two markets that are closely tied to China and to exports, really took it on the chin today more than any of the other agricultural commodities. December hogs sold off the limit. They were actually down $3.75. You had December fats down $2. You had feeder cattle down $2.50 to $3. So broad-based selling in all ag commodities, and I wish I had a better reason outside of just monetary policy. And like I said, it goes back to uncertainty. When markets are uncertainty, money flows out, and it's going to go into somewhere that's get a guaranteed return. And right now, that's in some type of money market where you can earn 5% interest.
Lots of great information today, Tyler. For those of our listeners and our viewers who would like to get in touch and learn more from the folks at agmarket.net, how can they do that?
Check us out on the internet, agmarket.net, or if you want to call direct, the number 701-987-6009.
Thanks for the analysis as always, Tyler, and we look forward to hearing from you again soon.
You bet. Take care, guys.
That again was Tyler Schau of agmarket.net. We'll go ahead and take a look at how those numbers close. That's courtesy of the folks at Bar Chart. December corn is down 7 even at $4.75 1/4. November soybeans down 26 1/4 at $12.93 3/4. December soybean meal down $7 at $3.8810. December soybean oil down 89 cents at $58.40. Chicago wheat down 13 even at $5.75 3/4. Minneapolis spring wheat down 16 even at $7.67 1/2. Kansas City hard red wheat down 18 1/2 at $7.10 1/2. December oats down 17 even at $4.19 even. On the Merc, October live cattle down 180 at 184.97. September feeders down 90 at 253.27. October lean hogs down 282 at 82.95. October pork cutout down 265 at 93.90. And October class 3 milk down a dime at 17.02. And that's been a check of the markets here on Ag Matters PM. We're going to go ahead and take a quick break to hear from our sponsor, the Iowa Soybean Association and the Soy Checkoff. When we come back, I talk with Devin Hammer of Bayer. This is Ag Matters PM.
Iowa Soybean Association is driven to deliver for Iowa's 40,000 soybean farmers. We're proud to provide objective agronomic research, a helping hand with soil and water stewardship, and timely industry news powered by the Soybean Checkoff. Learn more at iasoybeans.com.
Welcome back to Ag Matters PM on the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network. I'm Riley Smith. At this year's Farm Progress Show, I had the chance to talk with Devin Hammer of Bayer about their smart corn system and specifically that short stature corn. This was the groundbreaking year for them to really get that more widespread and let producers get their first hands on it, a little bit of a preliminary test run of that corn. And Devin said they had a pretty good run for this crop season. We're here at the Farm Progress Show in Decatur, Illinois, talking with Devin Hammer of Bayer, talking short corn this year. Now, this was the groundbreaking year for the short corn system, really, with Bayer. Yep. First off, just tell us a little bit of things on, things you've noticed that have gone really well with this crop season.
Yeah, so like you said, this is the first year we've had our groundbreakers. That's 30,000 acres across northern Illinois, Indiana, Iowa, and central and eastern Nebraska. 30,000 acres with roughly 280 farmers, and it's gone really well. The excitement is there. I was out on tours last week, and the groundbreaker farmer that we got to meet with in western Illinois, he asked when he could get more. So I think the execution has gone well with placing these products with the right growers and managing it and getting them to touch and feel it at that larger scale manner. First time we've been able to do that. So I just think the execution so far has been great. And that's despite a tough year in general with the dry weather. So I'm really happy to see the excitement despite some of those tougher conditions, and I'm happy to see the way the crop in most areas is really still meeting expectations. And I think it's going to be a really good and really interesting harvest.
Right, I'm based in central Iowa, and I've seen some short corn in the area, and there's people that look by and are like, well, was that just late planted corn? It's like, no, so the shorter corn, it provides those benefits as opposed to having taller corn, but still having the same amount of ears, providing that similar yield. So let's just go over again, since it is that groundbreaking year, the advantages we see from the short corn, because obviously having that shorter corn, we've got longer application windows, right?
That's right. So just the most basic level, what we're bringing with the short stature corn, why it's short, is we're reducing that plant height. We're reducing the internode length below the ear, and with that shorter height, you're getting protection from wind events, which has been a huge issue here lately. Just in Iowa, you had the derecho a couple of years ago, and you had some pretty large wind events this year, last year, and so we're seeing a large benefit from the short stature corn from our Precion brand to help protect against those types of wind events that lead to the lodging, the green snap, just from that shorter stature. And as you mentioned, the access piece, which allows growers to take their normal spray equipment and go into the field and make more timely fungicide application, not necessarily requiring the high clearance sprayer or an airplane to come and fly and spray that field. So a little more control in the hands of the grower, a little more independence for them to do what they think is best for the crop. And they don't necessarily need to invest in those high clearance sprayers to get into that field at that most appropriate timing. We talked to a grower last week who said, well, we had someone come out and spray our corn, early fungicide application, but we wanted the herbicide in with it. So it was later than what it should have been really for the herbicide. It was maybe earlier than what we wanted for the fungicide, but we had to meet in the middle. And he said, next year I'm going to plant short corn and I'm going to make those applications where they need to be for the crop and to achieve the purpose of what I want. So that kind of control that the access provides to the grower, I think is really key. And I think that really is resonating, and they're excited about that. And then obviously those two things together, that protection and that access, leads to improved yields on that farm, because you're not losing to lodging, and you're protecting better against those pests and disease.
And you brought up too that this was a little bit of a tough year to start with that, just from the drought and all these other pressures, but also a good year to prove the benefits of that short corn. Now, obviously, short corn doesn't really necessarily, with drought pressure, but having that shorter corn, if you get that weaker plant, smaller crop, less likely to bend over. Those wind pressures, we have had a few windstorms this year. Just how has the short corn been able to really kind of handle that despite the issues presented to it?
Well, like I said, I've been really, really impressed as far as I've been on so far here with what I'll call the resiliency of the short corn, and reducing that plant height is going to reduce the ear height. So what we've been watching really closely is making sure that ear height is up enough to maintain the ability to get the corn head underneath it and to have harvestability. And again, I'll say, overall, I'm really, really excited and impressed by the resiliency of those hybrids, despite that weather. So I would call this kind of a floor year, and we're only going to see things improve with our own genetics, with our breeding, and breeders have done an amazing job to get us to where we are now. But just the environment, this is a once in a decade, once in 2 decades kind of drought, and so next year will be better. The year after that should be better, and I think the excitement is there with growers, and I think this is going to be a really interesting next couple of years with corn growing.
Yes, absolutely. So anything else when it comes to Bayer short corn that our listeners and viewers should know about today?
Well, the one thing that we didn't talk about was the digital aspect and the tie-in with Climate Field View with Precion, and so that is going to be kind of the gateway to getting in and having that touch piece is through Climate Field View. And that allows really the grower to have a much more hands-on experience with the crop, with the short corn, and that enables us to, and our agronomists and our local climate reps in your area, in a grower's area, to help make the best recommendations for that field. So we can give hybrid eligibility with our portfolio of our short corn hybrids, and we can also give density recommendations to provide what we call an agronomic optimal yield or density for that yield target. And so that's something that's really different in how we're approaching this, but we think it provides a lot of benefit and value to the grower, to dealers, and to our own personnel with Bayer, channel decal agronomists who are helping work with those folks, and the overall what we call a white glove experience, having that hands-on experience with Bayer personnel, decal channel. I think that it's been a really positive feedback from growers this season, and we're going to expand next year. It's going to be 30,000 acres this year. The plan is 60,000 next year, with a larger number of hybrids than what we had in Groundbreaker. So we're really excited, and we can sense the excitement out there from our customers.
That again was Devin Hammer of Bayer. As for right now, let's go ahead and take a look at that ag weather outlook. Well, it feels like it's been forever since we've been able to say this, but there's a lot of rain in the forecast for tomorrow in particular. Really, across the state, you're seeing chances for rain, showers, thunderstorms, just scattered across the whole state. So, obviously, a bit annoying for those who are trying to get into the fields right now for harvest. But as we keep saying, and it kind of sounds like a broken record at this point, any moisture that we can get right now is good moisture, especially against those drought conditions we've seen over the past few years. So let's see what the National Weather Service has in store for the next 24 hours. As you can see from the National Weather Service, chances for showers towards the eastern and western borders today. Otherwise, it will be mostly sunny, highs ranging from the upper 60s to low 80s. Tonight, we have increasing clouds with chances for scattered showers in some areas, lows overnight ranging from the mid-50s to low 60s. And tomorrow, showers and storms across the state, highs ranging from the mid-70s to about 80. And taking a look at the affiliate weather map for tomorrow, Cherokee will see showers and storms, the high of 75. Shenandoah, showers and storms as well, a high of 80. Des Moines, a slight chance for storms and a high of 78. Waterloo, much of the same, chance for storms and a high of 78 as well. Albia, chance for storms and a high of 79. Clinton should see scattered showers, a high of 76. For more detailed forecasts in your part of the state, make sure to check in with your local Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network affiliate. That's been a check of the Ag Weather Outlook, and that also brings us to the end of this episode of Ag Matters PM. You can find all of our content on our website at iowaagnet.com. You can also follow us on social media at Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, and LinkedIn. You can find our video content as well as previous episodes of AMPM on our YouTube channel. So make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell to see when those videos go live. Don't forget as well our free Twice Daily Market podcasts on Apple, Amazon, Google, Spotify, and Podbean. From the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network studios in Des Moines, I'm Riley Smith. On behalf of Mark Magnuson and Dustin Huffman, we thank you for watching. This has been Ag Matters PM.